Hi, I'm Corey Walmsley. I'm the CEO of Aurora Borealis Publishing, as well as an author, a writing coach, and a book editor. So I want to bring you all of that information, all the stuff that I've gathered over the years, and get you a couple different perspectives on whenever you have a question. Because I know that you can reach out to a book editor and they're going to think one thing, or an author and they will think another thing. So I kind of bring the best of both worlds in. So I wanted to answer the question this month. This is our May blog, and people have been thinking about books a little bit this year. Sometimes when summer hits, that's when they start going, I'm going to have some extra time. I want to sit down and start working on my book. One of the things they don't necessarily think about, though, and you might have been in this boat yourself, when you first start your book, you want to think about when you actually want to launch it. So I often get a question, when's the best time to launch a book? And I don't have a date like it's, March 1st. It's the best day the whole year to launch a book. Everybody is buying books on March 1st. You definitely want to launch on March 1st. There's no simple answer like that. It depends. And I know I say that all the time. It depends on your book, on your audience, on who you want to, pull in. It depends on your schedule, and it depends on when you finish writing the book. So those are some things that you have to keep in mind when you're launching. Who is it that you want most to read your book? That should be the primary thing that you're looking at when you are launching your book. If you have a lot of, parents in your audience, if your book is aimed at parents, then summer might not be the best time to launch a book because kids are out of school then, and that's when a lot of people are taking vacations. However, if your book is aimed at people who are typically empty nesters or people who are, in their 50s and 60s, if that's more your age group for your book, and that could be, people thinking about retirement, that could be that type of book. It could be an empty nester kind of book. It could be, how to deal with being an empty nester, how to move into the next part of your career when you're in your 50s, because a lot of people at that point are either looking to jump ship and start their own thing, or they're looking to get into leadership roles. So think about who you have, who is going to be interested in your book. If it's people in that age group, then they might be more free in the summer, or they might not have a worry one way or the other. If your book is something that is aimed at, let's say, new graduates, most people graduate in May. There are December graduates too, but the bigger graduation ceremonies are in May. So you may want to look at an April or May launch. I would say in that case, April, like late April. That way people are keeping an eye on it, picking it up and giving it as a gift to your May and June graduates. So think about that kind of stuff. Who is your audience? When do they need that book? If it's a children's book, you may want to do a launch at the beginning of the school year. That way you can reach out to school, different schools and see about coming in and speaking as an author and reading your book to the kids. If you're launching that book in the summer, then you wouldn't have that opportunity until later on. And of course, there are always things like holidays. So you don't want to launch too close to a big holiday, or you're really not going to get the attention to your book. If you have a book coming out, let's say in the fall, you want to make sure it comes out before Christmas. You want it definitely out before Thanksgiving. A lot of people just kind of shut down. You have Christmas coming up. Of course, that's huge here in the United States. In other countries, it's probably big as well. If it's not big in your country, or if you're marketing to an audience that doesn't really deal with much with Christmas, it could be people who don't talk to their families. It could be people who are Jewish. It could be people who, are dealing with other things at that time. So think about that. Is a holiday going to impact it? I usually suggest that people avoid anything from like mid-November through early January, because you won't get a lot of people paying attention from the standard audience. People like me, I try to avoid doing anything at that time because, first of all, I have one daughter whose birthday is the end of November and the other one whose birthday is the beginning of January. So I basically have a 6-week span of birthday, birthday, holiday, 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 birthday. I don't want anything else on my plate at that time. So I, naturally I'm going to advise, if you're working with me, you don't want to do that. But if you're working with other people, avoid that time anyway, because a lot of people are just not going to be paying attention. The same happens with like Memorial Day, Labor Day, July 4th, things like that. People are planning on getting together with their families. So a couple days before or after is going to be kind of a tough launch because not a lot of people are paying attention. Now, as far as my book is concerned, the one that's coming out here in a couple of weeks, Braving the Shore, that book is aimed at women. And it's also a beachy sort of theme to it. It takes place on an island and it takes place in late spring. So my goal was to launch the book in late spring. That way people are picking it up and heading off on vacation to read it. It's absolutely a vacation read kind of book. It's fiction. It's an interesting, kind of mysterious read. It's aimed at women, it's fiction. So we have all of these things going on. And I thought this is going to be the perfect time to launch it because I do want people to be able to read it while they're on vacation. I don't want them to get halfway through summer and be like, oh, yeah, I already picked up my books. I want them to get it now before they go on vacation, before the kids get out of school. So that was my thinking on that book. I have another book that I'm working on that is going to have kind of a Christmassy feel to it. So I would probably launch that one in November. Not November this year, because doing too many book launches in a year will wear you out. I'm probably going to launch it next November, probably very early November. That way people can get it in their hands and get into that kind of Christmassy feeling, wintry feeling, whatever it is that you do. So absolutely consider who your audience is, what they're doing, and when they most need that book in their hands, because you don't want to line it up incorrectly and have it get in their hands after the fact. It won't be as important to them. Or you don't want to launch around a holiday and have it be completely ignored because there's some dude in a red suit who gets all the attention. So absolutely think about that when you're launching your book.